Well, hi everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and we are live on a Friday evening, which means it's time for us to talk about coping with life. And I hope you've had a wonderful day today. I know that I've been busy and that perhaps you have as well. And just a big, big welcome to everybody. Now, one of the things that we talk about here at DearMamaSal is learning how to cope. And we cope with all sorts of different things in the course of any week. And one of the things that I wanted to give you a tip on, I find this really helps. I've got a lot of shoes. Hang on a second. I've got a lot of shoes like this, runners, sneakers, that sort of stuff. And what I find is before I put them away, in other words, tomorrow I will put these away and probably bring out another pair to match what I'm wearing. But what I do is before I put them away, I spritz them with vinegar water, or if you haven't got vinegar water, maybe just a bit of Windex or something, or Mr. Clean, anything that's got antibacterial in it. And, I would recommend spritzing the top as well as the inside. But I definitely find that by spritzing the inside keeps them a lot more fresh. And we were talking at lunchtime today about be aware that the coronavirus is in droplets. So it can land on your shoes. And we were also, hi Sharon, good to see you, can also land on your hair. And so be extra vigilant in the coming weeks and the hair that are coming up now. We were talking again at lunchtime about things in life in terms of, what are you going to do for Thanksgiving? And all I would ask you to do is not think about how Thanksgiving should be, but how it needs to be in order that we can all celebrate it again next year, God willing. Another little tip. I don't know if any of you use the Laughing Cow cheeses? This I came about quite by accident, and it's so simple. And it was just like, why didn't I think of it before? Those things where you think, why didn't I think of it before? It has, two parts to it. There's a bottom part, and then there's this top part. And I use both. They are great. If you've got a green pepper or red pepper or yellow pepper, you know how they're inclined to weep a little bit. If you just put it cut side down into the lid or into the base of one of these, the cardboard just absorbs the extra moisture and it keeps them fresh. And I've got a number of them in my fridge with the different color peppers on, and it really works incredibly well. How I thought to do that, I have no idea, but I thought I would share it. As far as I know, we don't have any birthdays this week. And if I'm missing somebody's, please let me know, because it's not in our system. Before we get any farther, I did want to give a heads up for those of you who don't know. Louisiana Laurie, known as Lolo, her husband Bubba is recovering from what was to be a hernia operation. However, when they opened him up to do the hernia operation, they found a cancerous mass the size of a grapefruit. And, what an incredible shock to everybody. And so just your thoughts and prayers. For those of you who are in touch with Laurie, please, keep her in your thoughts and prayers and keep in touch. I am pretty certain she is stressed to the hilt. This is a very worrying time for everybody in that family. I don't think I read this last week, and I wanted to. This was from the mailbox. And it came from Dotty Dot, who writes to us quite often in the comments section. And she was saying, hang on a second, about my hair. And she was saying, we did that video on how do I keep the body in my hair. And she was saying, your hair is beautiful. I love she loved the idea about the parting. When you do a part, when you part your hair, I try not to part it in the same place 2 days in a row. And I also go like this with my fingers and then pull it like this so that it's not a straight part. And I find what happens then is it gives both sides more body. Now, I cut off quite a bit of my hair this week, as you can probably see. So, so it's not as relevant as it might be. But anyway, she said, funny enough, I had made the comment that when I stopped dyeing my hair, that it got more wavy. And she was saying the same thing. So that was an interesting thing to see. Any views that I might give you during the course of this broadcast, people, are my own. I just need to tell you I haven't got some fancy bit of paper that says I am qualified to do this, that, or the other. I am a human being that's lived a long life, and also I have learned a lot in living that long life, and I'm very grateful for it. And the reason I do the work that I do is because, in my view, I wish somebody had told me when I was a whole lot younger some of the things that we talk about on these broadcasts. My life would have been different. But on the other hand, I probably wouldn't be here if I had known these things back then. And I'm a great believer not only in helping one another, but also to help those people that we meet. And so keep learning and keep sharing. I like to think of us as the ripple, so we'd have this ripple. Hi, Karen. Are you using the broadcast to advertise something, honey? Is that what you're trying to do? If so, I really. Anyway, just Jody, keep an eye out, please. So what Dear Mama Sal is about is all about really looking after ourselves as well as those around us with all these little things that we do. Coping with life is extremely difficult. I spent a lot of my life not coping with it, blaming other people for it and all sorts of things like that. But the truth is, the better we cope with our life, the happier we are, as a lot of you have already found out. And that means coping with the ups and the downs. And funny enough, sometimes we don't realize that the ups have as much stress on us as the downs do. We're more inclined to think that the stress comes from the downs. Well, they also come from the ups as well. And you're going, give me more ups this week. Coping means investing in our own conscious effort to solve personal and interpersonal problems in order to try and master, minimize, and tolerate stress and conflict. And that is what coping is about. And so feel free to participate. Please don't use the channel as somewhere to advertise something else. That's not nice. But I guess some people would do that. It's not what we do here. I really wanted to say to you, if you have a topic that you'd like me to talk about, please write to me at DearMamaSal@gmail.com, and I will do what I can to include it in one of the broadcasts or to dedicate one broadcast to the topic. Cheers. Tip of the day again. For those of you who have a sweet tooth but don't want to have the sugar, I found a really neat trick this week. And again, I was playing around. I was desperate for something sweet, but didn't want to have, obviously, the things that were sweet. So what I did was I took some Miracle Whip. I think that's what it's called. No, not Miracle Whip. Miracle Whip is mayo. I'm thinking Dream Whip. That's it, Dream Whip. I took some Dream Whip, threw some non-sugar Jell-O in there and mixed it up, and then put it in the fridge until it solidified, and then a squidge of pressurized cream on top. Oh, and one of them, I just had it like that just now, but sometimes I just put some raspberries or something, and it's a really amazingly sweet tasting treat that actually isn't that bad at all. And of course, if you want to pretend it's ice cream, just put it in the freezer for a while. So our Friday night broadcast is all about how can we live rather than just exist. Sharon saying, now you tell me this, just as I've got a Hershey with almonds in my mouth. Yeah, never mind, Sharon. Forget that I mentioned it. For we believe that to live is the rarest thing in the world, as Oscar Wilde said, and most people just exist, right? And we like to live. Sandy's saying, the pre-made sugar-free Jell-O or the powder? I put the powder in, and I didn't mix it with anything. I just literally put the powder in with the Dream Whip and mixed it up. And I want to tell you something. It worked really well. I found some fun quotes, which I thought you would enjoy this evening. How about this one? Let me know if you relate to this at all. It says, be crazy, be stupid, be weird, be whatever, because life is too short to be anything but happy. How many of you agree? It's like, really, none of us know if we're going to be here this time next week. As I said at lunchtime, we can be so careful. We can do all these things to try and minimize our likelihood of getting the virus. But, we could get it just through a simple passing of somebody on the street where we don't realize that that is the person who's got it. And so what I would really challenge you all to do is please, please, live your life as best you can. For those of you who are watching me doing my unboxing of some things, I've actually, rather than get everything taken out of storage, I've just ordered up some paint, and I don't have my brushes and I don't have all the things I normally paint with. But you know something? I am going to take the day off tomorrow, and I am going to mess with paint. I'm going to try very hard not to get it on the carpets here. But, it's just like, it's time. And, I've decided that is a gift to myself. That is the gift to myself, to take some time and play with paint. And I have no idea how I'm going to mix it up because I don't have the things I normally mix it with or in. But you know me well enough to know I will make a plan. And so what I'm looking forward to, really looking forward to, is being able to just spend some time being creative. It's been 6 weeks since the fire, and it is time for me to do something that isn't stressful, that isn't making decisions, that isn't anything other than hopefully something that will give me great pleasure. And I am pretty sure all of you would want that for me, in which case, what is it that you are going to treat yourself to this week? Let's hear it. What would be an indication that you are looking after you this week? What would you do, and what will you do? And, what is it you need to give yourself permission to do? Because I find that, have any of you found that sometimes you need a buddy to give you permission to take the day off? And I want to tell you that it's a really good idea. Whether we like it or not, all this lockdown and pandemic and stress on the elections and everything is all so incredibly stressful on us all. And I would beg you, please, just take some time to do something that's fun for you. And I love this quote. It says, I don't mean to brag, But I put together a puzzle in one day, and the box said 2 to 4 years. It sounds like me. All right, so how about this one? I don't need a psychiatrist to prod into my personal life and make me tell them all my secrets. I have my friends for that. How many of you believe that your friends have turned out to be the best psychiatrists you could have prayed for? You know, that because they really understand you and they really, you know what I like about my friends? You know, they don't constantly say things like, and how do you feel about that? You know, my friends just tell me how they feel about it. Even better. So sometimes I just want somebody to hug me and say, I know it's hard, but you'll be okay. And here's a coffee and $1 million. How many of you going, I need to meet that person? Oh, Jody is saying, chatting with my friends, baking a treat, watching YouTube videos. Exactly. What a great way to spend a day. And I want to tell you, Jody, you've been through the ringer. For those of you who don't know, Jody is our admin, and she does a wonderful job of looking after me during the week and making sure I'm catching up on things that I said I was going to. And not only that, but she does a wonderful job of supporting the viewers. And, you know, where would we be? I don't even want to think about that. So, Jody, just awesome. I would like to say that sounds like a wonderful thing to do, which is to give yourself a day off. But I'm very picky about your day off. You know, you will still talk to me, of course. I don't know if you noticed it, Jody, but I actually try to give you a bit of a break during the week this week. But I realized that it probably felt like I was upset or something, because I thought, you know, I really didn't explain that before I did it. But it was just like, I thought, you know, it probably sounds like I'm just not being very chatty, when really the thing was that I knew you'd been dealing with a lot. And I thought, I think I'll give Jody a bit of a break for a couple of days. Now, I wonder how many of you relate to this one. When somebody says to you, are you busy tomorrow? And in your mind, you're saying, that entirely depends on what it is you want me to do. So my question to you is, when somebody says that to you, are you busy tomorrow? Is that how you answer them? Or what do you say instead? Because all too often, one of the things we talk about here is that it's really nice to have the right words. So when somebody says to you, are you busy tomorrow? What do you guys answer? Sharon, what do you answer? I'm trying to think. Normally, if somebody says to me, are you busy tomorrow? I normally say yes. All right. I normally say yes, but let me know what it is that you want, and let me see if I can, if I'm going to be able to move things around. So in other words, I try to keep it in the center. Sandy's saying, I'm taking a day off from laundry and the like. I am working on my crafts and watching Hallmark movies. There you go. That's exactly what I'm going to do as well, after I've done my exercise in the morning. And Lawrence said, I say yes. I'm busy depending on who it is that's asking. Yes, I find it easier to say yes and then retract that than to say why. I actually will say I do have some things lined up, but let me know what you need, and let me see if I can fit that in, sort of thing. Depending on what it is. I think this one, if this one makes you laugh, please let me know. Why must I prove that I am me when I'm paying bills over the phone? Did somebody else call to pay my bills? And if they did, why don't you let them? I don't know about you, but I'd be quite happy to have somebody else pay my bills. All right, now this one Jody will relate to, and some of you that are not morning people. I found this, and it says, I've got 206 bones, 650 muscles, and 50 billion cells in my body. It takes time to wake all of them up in the morning. In fact, for me, it takes me all morning to wake them up. That's why I don't do anything until the afternoon. Yeah, that's who I am. And so all right, so how about this one? I'm the kind of crazy you weren't warned about because no one else knew that this level existed. Yeah, that would be me. Now, at lunchtime today, for those of you who might not have been here, Sharon wasn't. Sharon, at lunchtime, we were discussing, it came up in the conversation, Amazon Pantry. I think that's what it's called. And what I did was I decided to have a little look into there to see whether it was worth it or not. And I've got a couple of questions which you guys may or may not be able to answer, in which case we'll do a bit more research. For example, I just want to get this up here because I did a bit of research. The Amazon Pantry in Canada is selling Folgers coffee, the 920 gram, that's the big one, for $7.97 Canadian. Now, I went to look at my local supermarket, and my local supermarket has it on special this week, and the same size, and they've got it on special at $9.99. Remembering that Amazon Pantry has it at $7. I think that's 97. So that would still be another $2 savings, and the normal price is, like $11. So that definitely was worthwhile. So that made me have a look at something else that, you guys might or might not buy. Thank you, Jody. 920 grams is about 2¼ pounds. So then I had a look at peanut butter, the big size peanut butter. It's 2 kgs here, but is $7.94 in Amazon Pantry. And it is normally $12.94 at my local supermarket. That's a big saving, people. That's not a maybe saving, that is a huge saving. Jody's telling me that 2 kilograms is 4.4 pounds. I love you, Jody. Thank you very much indeed. Now, I was on a bit of a roll, so I thought, now what else do I buy that I buy big sizes of that I could look into? And the one thing that I found that was not cheaper was skim milk. I use skim milk for my lattes, as some of you know. And the 2-pound bag, which would be 2.2 pounds actually, which is the 1 kilogram, for those of you who speak Canadian, is just under $20. It's 19.95 Canadian. The local supermarket is selling it for $13.39, the no-name brand version of it. So definitely not cheaper to buy that at Amazon Pantry. So be careful what you buy, but you understand some of those savings are significant. So now what I don't know, and maybe if anybody knows this or has the answer to it, I'd appreciate it. If you buy on Pantry, will they deliver it with your regular order of stuff from Amazon? How does that work? Or is it a separate order? Yeah, Sharon, that's why I'm talking about it, because the savings are significant enough that in these times when we're all feeling the pinch and everything's going up in price, to be able to buy these things at a better price is, a really good idea. Now, they're mostly things that have a long shelf life. Obviously, then we're not talking produce and stuff, but it's like, that is worth looking into. If you just did that sort of what I call the long life type items once a month, for the coming month, that would actually save you a lot of money. So I'm presuming that order comes separate from an Amazon order, but I wonder if you've already ordered on Amazon that day, whether they will put it all together. I don't know. I guess there's one way to find out, and that's to do it. So anybody gets the answer to that, let me know, please, because that would obviously be important. Excuse me. Thank you, Jody. And I quote, Jody says, the Amazon pantry items all shipped together, and will arrive separately from other Amazon.com Prime items in your order. Thank you, Jody. That's exactly what I needed to know. So it's a separate order altogether. Good thinking. So has anybody done a good job of controlling their stress this week? And how many of you have controlled others trying to give you stress this week? Yes, I checked it in Canada. Sorry, Sandy, let me just check what you're asking there. Are you asking whether those delivery things are the same in Canada, or are you saying, do we have Amazon Pantry in Canada as well? I'm pretty sure it'll come with its own group of stuff. It won't be, because they can't always check, I would think it's a different warehouse, quite honestly, Sandy. I don't know if anybody else heard this, I heard that Amazon is actually buying up a lot of retail places in malls and things to use them as warehouses to deliver food. In other words, they're going to have these areas that are sort of like staging points of the most commonly called for groceries. Like, for example, the coffee and stuff like that, so that they can ship it out very quickly because it'll be literally on your doorstep. Now Sandy says that she's saying, yes, asking if the delivery is the same. I've ordered food-related items before, and they've come with other items. Yes, but are they from, did you order them on Amazon Pantry? See, that is the difference. You can get food-related stuff on Amazon, but if you're buying it through the website called Amazon Pantry, those things come separately. Does that make that clear? So I quite often buy foodstuffs from Amazon, but what I found out today is that the Amazon Pantry is even better in terms of cost savings. And how about this one? Mother talking to their child, why is everything on the floor? And the child answers, gravity, Mum. How many of you do that? How many of you accidentally drop stuff on the floor and you go, well, I think I'll leave it there for a while because it's not going to go any lower down than that. I've done that. Okay, fine. That's about as low as you're going to go, so you can stay there for a while. So Jody is adding, because Jody is a wonderful source of information. Jody is saying to Sandy, it might be from third-party vendors, not from the pantry part of Amazon. Yes, that's what I'm thinking as well, Jody. We'll find out, right? I'm certain a lot of us will try it, and then we'll have more experience to be able to help other people. Life always offers you a second chance. It's called tomorrow. And how many of you stress out because you made a mistake today? And I would like to suggest that part of our new thinking is, well, I made this mistake today, but you know, I've got more experience ready for tomorrow now. And I assure you that I make mistakes every day. And the difference is I don't sweat about them quite as much as I used to. When I was small, I thought money and fame brought all the happiness in the world. Now that I'm grown up, I know I was right. Yeah, I love that one. You know, the coffee and $1 million would solve a lot of problems, right? And you've all heard that thing, dance like nobody's watching. And then somebody wrote, because they're not, they're all busy checking their phones. Can you remember when you used to go to have coffee with somebody? Well, that's the first thing. Can you remember in the days when you could go and have coffee with somebody? I feel like I've been in lockdown for the longest time, as has Sandy as well. You know, it's just like, I don't know about you, but I'm looking forward to just being able to go and have coffee with somebody again. You know, it's just like, why did I take that for granted? Now this one I thought was really very clever. I think in British terms, it's called very droll. Listen to this one. When life closes a door, just open it again. It's a door. That's how they work. And Jody's saying, I love that we can all learn from each other, and thank you all for contributing and helping us grow. I quite agree. You know, wasn't it incredible? I mean, I'd never heard, I'd sort of heard about the Amazon thing, but I'd never looked into it until it came up in conversation today. And I'm so glad I did, because I'm obviously going to save some more money. Now, if this makes you chuckle, then you got to know this is me. I like to live life dangerously by occasionally sticking my foot out over the edge of the bed at night. I don't know about the rest of you, but I have this peculiar habit, and I know when it started, and I'll talk about that. I have a peculiar habit of wrapping myself up like a cocoon, and then I put one foot out and on top of the bedclothes. Now, when did I start that? I started it when I broke my leg. I broke my ankle. And I was in Africa, and it was really, really hot, because it was summer when I broke my leg. And I had my leg in a plaster cast. And the only way I could get any relief was to take that plaster cast and put it on top of the sheets and everything at night, the blankets. And it's been a habit of mine ever since, where I get really nice, warm and cuddly under the duvet, and then do any of you do anything strange like that? Or is it just me? It's like, yeah, that's got my name on it. Some of you will like this one. Let me know. If you have an opinion about my life, please raise your hand. Thank you. Now put it over your mouth. I'm inclined to say, I'm inclined to say, tell somebody who cares. It's like, yeah, right. I found this one. It said, "Dear life, when I said, can this day get any worse? It was a rhetorical question, not a challenge." Be careful with that one. Sunglasses. They are there so that you can stare at people without getting caught. It's like Facebook in real life. Dear. Why do I find these amusing? Oh, nice one. Jodi's putting up an emoji with sunglasses on. Okay, so this is about the door thing again, just so that you know. When in life a door closes, when a door closes, another door should open. But if it doesn't, then go in through a window. I think that's always been my plan B. If plan A doesn't work, try plan B. And as Jodi knows, sometimes I'm up to plan C or D before I find one that works. But I never, ever just go at things from one direction. It's just like, okay, and if that doesn't work, what am I going to do? And if that doesn't work, what am I going to do? So I try to be prepared, because it's been my experience in life that very rarely does plan A ever work. In fact, if it does, I'm pleasantly surprised. How many of you think that nothing is impossible? Anybody? Jodi's saying, one of the best lessons Sal taught me, be prepared. Yeah, and I wasn't even a Girl Guide. Can you believe that? And I think, but what I found out, that being prepared with those backup possibilities, those other options, really does take a lot of the stress away, because when plan A doesn't work, you go, that's okay, I've got plan B ready. So here's the thing. If you think nothing is impossible, try slamming a revolving door. Or how about this one? Who says that nothing is impossible? I've been doing nothing for years. right. This one is good too. How about this one? I know that I'm stupid. When I look around me, I feel a whole lot better. This is going to be my tomorrow thing. I've got bits of coffee in my mouth. Don't you hate that? Yesterday, I did nothing. And today, I'm going to be finishing what I did yesterday. And Jody's saying, I often ask myself, how is it possible to be so busy all day and have accomplished nothing? Jody, wow, that's an awesome question. Does anybody else have that question? Hi, Beth. Good to see you, honey. Does anybody else ask themselves that? How come I was busy all day and I don't seem to have accomplished anything? Jody, here's my challenge for you. Are you ready for this? Need you to listen up and concentrate for a second. I used to say that a lot to myself, and here's what I would challenge you to do. Tomorrow, I think you've got a day timer somewhere in your life, right? Or a blank piece of paper would do. What I'd like you to do is for one day, one whole day, is just stop every time the little hand reaches the 12, like every hour. Stop and ask yourself, what have I done in the last hour? Not what you haven't done. What have I done in the last hour? Doesn't matter if it wasn't on your to-do list. I think you'll be quite shocked what you have been doing. You see, I would say to you that if I think about it today, I didn't do very much. Well, hello, who am I kidding? I got up. I will, by the time I finish this broadcast, have prepared and delivered 4 hours of broadcasting, and the 4 hours live, but also the prep time as well. I have done a wash. I have vacuumed my apartment here. I have been making bread dough. By the way, that little whisk thing works really well. And if I wrote it all down, I think people would go, phew, yeah, it's a busy day, so. But it doesn't feel like I've done anything. So Jody, I challenge you. And if you wouldn't mind, when you've finished it, let us have it. And then maybe we can discuss it next week. And anybody else that thinks they waste their day. Now, if your whole day, by the way, Jody, don't pick it on your day off, which is tomorrow. Do it on, Monday or something. And really, what I realized is what I think is doing nothing isn't true. All right? What I think is doing nothing isn't true. I lie to myself. However, this next quote says, doing nothing is hard. You never know when you're done. Yes, well done. Beth is saying the highlight of my day was hiring 2 employees, so I may be able to take 2 days off in a row. Yeah, Beth. But you knew this was going to happen, right? Hi, Kimmy. Good to see you as well, honey. And this says, when nothing is going right, go left. Guess what, Beth? And this next one says, it may look like I'm not doing anything, but in my head, I'm quite busy. No, that is insane. Beth works at a Dollar General. She's a manager of a Dollar General store. And she says that they have to put up the Valentine's Day candy by December the 7th. Isn't that insane? It's like, that is amazing. Now, I thought this one, where are you, my viewers who are mischievous? You're going to like this one. It says, when they say, don't try this at home, I want to come over to your place and try it there. Is that okay? Oh, that is so me. I often wonder how many times in a day I say to myself, I wonder what would happen if, and then I go, why don't I try it? Now then, some of you may relate to this week, and if you do, just smile. I don't think inside the box, and I don't think outside the box. I don't even know where the box is. There have been so many days like that for me. I find myself, I'm going around doing stuff and I have to stop and I go, what is it that I'm trying to do? Because I'm so busy being busy, I forget what I'm trying to be busy at. Some of you may relate. How about this one? If one door closes and another opens, your house is probably haunted. All right. To make a mistake is human. But to blame it on somebody else, that's even more human. Those were the days I could do that. Okay. Everybody has a photographic memory. Some of us just don't have any film. Sandy's saying, great, all the Amazon food talk, and now I'm looking at Terani sugar-free syrup. Anybody try it? No, I haven't tried it. But I've got to tell you, Jody got me into trying the what's it called? The toffee flavored drops. Boy, that tastes good. I put it in my foam, my milk foam, and it really gives my coffee a wonderful taste. How about this one? It is true that we don't know what we've got until we lose it. But it's also true that we don't know what we've been missing until it arrives, like the toffee flavored drops in your coffee. And by the way, I actually, this is a trick that I've taught you guys before, but that the writing is so small on that thing that if you take your camera, this is what I'm learning to do. If you take your camera, and take a picture, but then you can enlarge the picture on your camera. Thank you. They're called Better Stevia Toffee Drops. They are really good. Now, There's something else that I wanted to let you know. Here's another tip of the day. I don't know if I told you this, but I noticed that one of the things I don't have here, because, I'm temporarily living in a rented apartment, I don't have a mirror so I can see the back of my head. But I realized I do have a phone. So whenever I want to check what the back of my hair looks like, I just put my camera on and I put it facing me like a selfie. And then I can see in the mirror behind me how the back of my hair looks. How many of you going, why didn't I think of that? It took me a while to work that one out. Beth saying, I put turmeric and black pepper in my coffee with a little bit of butter. Yes, and then Jody said, that's bulletproof coffee. It's so healthy for you. And it really fuels you up for the day. I still haven't tried that. I do think I should have a go at that. They also have brown sugar, cinnamon, and salted caramel. Do they really? I will try the salted caramel for sure, if I can find it. And how many of you relate to this one? You're born free, and then you're taxed to death. All right, so here are some quotes that I hope will have you smiling. The broccoli says, I look like a small tree. And the mushroom says, I look like an umbrella. And the walnut says, and I look like a brain. The banana says, could we please change the subject? All right, so this one, your secret is safe with me. I wasn't even listening. Now, we all know this person. I'm not here to judge. I'm just pointing out all the mistakes you're making. We know those people. Beth is saying that's my saying as a manager. Yeah. All right, how about this one? If we were on a sinking ship and there was only one life vest, I would miss you so much. I don't have gray hair. I have wisdom highlights. Isn't that true? Sometimes, just sometimes, I wish I was an octopus, and then I could slap 8 people at the same time. Now, I can hear my long-departed mother saying, Sal, after if and wish comes the word were. I wish I were an octopus. I can still hear her saying that to me. Did you know that? After if, wish, after wish, after if and wish comes were. How about that one? So, if I was a rich man is grammatically incorrect. For Fiddler on the Roof people. Yeah. Whenever I'm sad, you're there. And whenever I have problems, you're there. Whenever I lose control, you're there. So let's face it, you're just bad luck. Oh, I've got to, hang on a second, I've got to take a screenshot of that. When I next speak to Marnie, I need to be able to quote that to her. Because she's always there in my life. Hang on one second. I can do this. Wait 1 second. Got to find out where the doodad is. Oops. Slip it. Hang on, people. The question is, are we doing December this year? Hi, Name. Good to see you. I don't know. I have not been told one way or the other. And quite often that is the case. And sometimes at the very last moment, I will hear that they are doing it. So I haven't heard either way. So I guess I would have to say, I'll let you know as soon as I know. And my sense is that they probably might not do it, just by virtue of all that's going on. How did I meet Judy? I met Judy through Benji. I met Benji, which is another story. Hi, Name. Where are you from, by the way? I met Benji first, and then he decided to get engaged to Judy, and then I met Judy. So that is how I met Judy. I met Benji when he was just 18, and he was a participant. I was the keynote speaker at a leadership thing, and I met him there, and I was so impressed with him. And he and I have been buds ever since. Yes, I got your question, Name, and I've answered it. I met Benji, and Benji introduced me to Judy. I met Benji before they got engaged, way before. And then when he got engaged, obviously, I met Judy. Got it? Okay, so. Well, isn't that kind? Name saying, we love your support of December. I want to tell you that I don't do that alone. I have to say that, I am part of a group of people that do December. And a lot of them you don't see. A lot of them are behind the scenes people. And I'm delighted that you enjoy, I'm delighted that you enjoy the participation. I must admit that it's always, I can go way back to the days when we had blog TV, when we started it. And, it's just wonderful to see how incredible it is and how it's grown. You hope to see more of my live chats. Well, do you mean in December or where? I want to tell you the whole family is cute. Kimmy's saying the girls are cute. The whole family, really. I am amazed. And, it is, okay, I did already answer that name. So I was the keynote speaker at a leadership convention, and Benji was in the audience, and I met him. And I actually stayed at the leadership thing for a whole weekend, so I got to know him pretty well. And I closed the convention as well, and then he and I kept in touch. So I've known him since he was 18. Such a cute thing at 18. And I think like so many things in life, it was the interesting thing is how, originally I was helping Benji, And now, as I got older, now Benji helps me. And I think it's a wonderful shift in life. And, you know, it's sort of like, it's really a strange feeling, but I now go to Benji. Name saying you should read aloud books for children. Children would enjoy it. Children, yeah, I do find that people do it, but the difficulty is that it's, you know, books are copyrighted, so I would love to do it, but most books are copyrighted, so from that perspective, I couldn't do them and put them online. I actually had one viewer who wrote poetry and asked me to do voiceovers of his poetry, which I was quite stunned about. It was wonderful. But thank you for the compliment, Name. I appreciate that. There are so many times I made you angry and upset and irritated and tired. And today I just wanted to say, I'm thinking of continuing. Kimmy's saying that, hi, Autumn, good to see you. Kimmy's saying that I love the bed and breakfast they rented. Yes, you know, it's wonderful, isn't it? Beth is saying, watching Benji and Judy led me to you eventually. I was just watching YouTube and you came up on my feed from watching It's Judy's Life, so I clicked it. Well, and that was, that was what, how many years ago was that now, Beth? Quite a few now. Autumn, how are you? It's always a pleasure to see you here. How about this one? My neighbor asked if he could borrow my lawnmower, and I told him, of course he could, as long as he didn't take it out of my garden. Think about that. Now, how many of you relate to this one? When I said I cleaned my room, I just meant that I made a path from the doorway to my bed. Oh, Autumn's got, hang on a second. Kimmy's saying, I was looking for older YouTubers, and that's how I found DearMamaSal. Really, Kimmy? That is interesting. Yes, I must admit, whenever I've gone to things like VidCon or something like that, I am probably the only person over 40 that goes there. I'm twice that age nearly. But, you know, I always am aware of the fact that I'm one of the few older YouTubers, if you like. Autumn saying, I'm good. I'm very excited right now. My sister Elizabeth, who's joined here before and loves you, wow, is currently pushing. She's about to have her third baby. Well, give her a big hug. Well, I say give her a big hug. No, maybe that would help. She won't need to push as much. But please congratulate her from us. This one's cute. It says, I keep pressing the space bar, but apparently I'm still on Earth. All right. And this is Beth. I so agree with you. Beth saying, what amazing way life leads you to, leads you in the right direction, even if you don't know you want it or you think you need it. Yes, I've always said that, if you remember, Beth, that whenever I get, you know, I'm trying to get somewhere and there's a traffic jam or something like that, I'm a great believer that that's for a good reason. And that's life stopping me because maybe there is an accident that's about to happen and I don't need to be part of it or whatever. I just don't think there are coincidences. I think, I can remember a couple of times in my life I've gone in to fill up with gas and accidentally gone in the wrong direction. I started heading back home again instead of going where I was trying to get to. And I'm amazed how many times when I've done that, when I turned around, by the time I got where I was going, I noticed that there'd been an accident. And if I'd carried on, I would have been part of it. And so I don't believe in coincidences anymore. So I think everything happens for a reason. How about this one? Happiness, that emotion that puts your face in motion. Fear, that emotion that puts your legs in motion. Anger, that emotion that puts your fist in motion. Lesson, don't be afraid or angry, and you won't have to run or fight. Isn't that lovely? All right, this one. Dear autocorrect, that is not what I was trying to say, and I'm getting tired of your shirt. How many of you get that? How about this one? And if you keep annoying me, I'm going to give your phone number to all the kids and tell them this is Santa's hotline. And how about this one? My kitchen cleaner says for a clean kitchen, so I can't use it. My kitchen's dirty. And dear phone, if you didn't light up so many times to tell me that you had a low battery, you wouldn't have died so quickly. And pool rules, rules for the swimming pool. You're not allowed to do anything that begins with the words, "Hey, everybody, watch this." There's a lot of truth in this one. So take a deep breath, everybody. I'm not arguing. I'm just explaining why I'm right. And I again remind you all, if you haven't seen the movie A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, it is an absolute lesson in how to deal with people graciously. And I really recommend that everybody see it at least once and learn the lesson in there, because, boy, if ever there was a lesson in how to treat people nicely and be a nice human, it's in that movie. I'm going to stand outside now. So if anybody asks for me, I'm outstanding. What movie? A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood with Tom Hanks. It's on Netflix. I found a hotel with the most stars in the world. Well, it's got a hole in the roof so you can see them all. I was told to check my attitude, and I did, and it's still there. It hasn't gone anywhere. What's the problem? Hi, Name. Welcome back. How about this for a pun? I once had a job in an orange juice factory, but I got canned because I couldn't concentrate. Now, this one is so true. It said, I always knew that I'd get old. How fast it happens was a bit of surprise, though. Do any of you feel like that? It was like, yeah, I knew I was going to get old, but somehow or other, the time between 0 and 40 and 40 and 80, well, I'm not 80 yet, but, you know, it seems to be much faster. All right. What is the Mandela effect? I'm certain people. Hang on a second. Let me just make sure we have the right thing. That's a false memory, right? Hmm. Yes, it's an incorrect memory rather than that. Kimmy's saying you think of something is a certain way, but it's not the way you thought it was. Yes, it's so true of so many things, isn't it? So what is it about it that you've been looking into? Kim, just so that we... How about this one? My doctor prescribed laughter as the most efficient medicine. Unfortunately, the pharmacist said too many people were crying from laughter, so it isn't available anymore. I try not to laugh at my own jokes, but we all know I'm hilarious. Well, Kimmy, you know, that's true. I think we all, we can relate to that. Kimmy's saying that she found it interesting how many things she thought were true that aren't. And I was saying at lunchtime, Kimmy, if you remember, that another thing that that I found really interesting was how many lies I was told as a child, and how many lies I was told that I thought were true, and how embarrassing it was. And it wasn't just Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny. You know, for example, I was told by my mother that she had been caught in a snowstorm, and when she was pregnant with me. And it took me a long time to think about that and go, wait a minute, I was born in August. How on earth was she in a snowstorm in August? And then I realized she probably was making fun of me, which she did a lot, by the way. But to me, it was like, I didn't find that very amusing. Yes, so Kimmy, that's, I'm delighted to hear that you're double checking things now. And that's, to me, that makes you a much more educated person when you don't take everything for granted. I'm a great believer, if it doesn't sound right, check it out. Just take that couple of minutes to check it. And I got caught on one in the last month, Kim. And I checked most things, but I saw one thing and I believed it to be true, and I actually posted it, and then I found out it wasn't. So it was very sad. But I am delighted that you're checking things out more. And the other thing is also check the source. I find a lot of things, sure, you can check them, and it's on the internet somewhere, but it's not anywhere credible. All right. And so now the other thing is this: in today's reality, I think we'll all agree that we don't know what to believe anymore, because there is so much misinformation on social media, so much misinformation that, it's like you almost have to be a rocket scientist to find out if it's true or not. Sandy was watching the launch of the SpaceX rocket Dragon, and I was watching it with her. It was a really amazing feeling that I had when I watched that, and I don't know if anybody else watched it, but when I realized that I was old enough to have seen the first spaceship go up, and now in my lifetime, we now have found out that that a private company can send up a rocket up to the space station, and the absolute joy that you saw on the face of those astronauts, those 4 astronauts, as they went onto the space station. I don't know about the rest of you, but it just sent a shiver down my back, and I'm going, when they take off, they know let's be honest, they are sitting on top of an awful lot of fuel, and the slightest mistake, and they can go whoosh. And, I am certain they are delighted to get there safely. I personally have no wish to go to the space station. I don't know about you guys. There's certain things in my life I really have no wish to do. Bungee jump out of an airplane, go on a space shuttle. I can do without those. I'm quite a happy camper. It's just like, no, I don't think so. And, it's just like, I am certain, I've got one person that I know that said he would really like to go to the moon. And I thought it was probably a good place for him, quite honestly. Just like, well, the reason I say that, Sandy, is that he happens to be particularly antisocial. He mistrusts everybody, and it's like, and he spends his life avoiding the IRS and things like that. And I'm going, the moon's probably a good place for you. All right, now then, think about this one, people. Think about this. Are you ready? Deep breath. You're riding a horse at full speed, and there's a giraffe on your left and a lion chasing you from behind. So what do you do next? Dum 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 dum. And the answer is get off the carousel. All right, so this is the next time you trip and somebody says, "Oh, did you trip?" "No, I was just checking to see if gravity still works," and it does. Okay, now this one. What is the best thing to do when you have a hole in a boat and the water is leaking? Make another hole in the boat and drain out the water, of course. Okay, Sandy's saying, I was trying to figure out how to pivot, but save the giraffe. Yeah, of course you were. Ah, Kimmy's saying, for instance, on the peanut butter jar, is the name Jiffy or Jif? Yeah, it's Jif, isn't it? I could be wrong. I don't buy that brand, so it's not high on my list. Yep, I am correct. You know, if we're not meant to eat at night, could you explain why they put a light in the fridge? Yeah, I thought it was so we could see well at night. And there are no stupid questions, just stupid people. I want to tell you something. I don't believe there are. This is something I would have loved to been able to say. Teacher, why are you talking during my lesson? Student, why are you teaching during my conversation? Now, this is a good question. Are you ready for this one? People, think about this one carefully. If Cinderella's shoe fitted perfectly, then why did it fall off? And seriously, why do they call it beauty sleep when you wake up looking so terrible? Yeah, I definitely have to agree with that. All right. Now, this one is a very good point, and some of you will have the answer to this. Where do they get the seeds to plant seedless watermelons, or seedless cucumbers, or seedless grapes? And I wonder how people, how the police on bikes, those police, those police on bikes things, how do they arrest people? Do they say, okay, now jump in the basket? Or on horses, yes. You can get up beside me here. All right. Another very good question. If camera lenses, when you have a camera, then why, if camera lenses are round, there, why are the pictures rectangular? Think about that. But why didn't I use my turn lights? Because it's nobody's business where I was going. I still think this is a brilliant one. I don't know who came up with this, but sometimes you read things and you go, that's really good. I've seen this before and I love it. It said, how come iPhone chargers are not called apple juice? I mean, really, isn't that clever? iPhone chargers should be called apple juice. I'm looking for my apple juice. Apple juice? Yes, my iPhone charger. Yes, the refrigerator light does turn off when you close the door. Yep. Yeah, I think apple juice is so clever. And for those of you who've got iPhones, just call your charger juice now. Have you seen my juice? Well, apple juice. Charger for my apple. So I wasn't mad, but now that you've asked me 7 times if I'm mad, yes, I am mad now. Now, here's one that you've got to think about a little bit, people. Why is it called After Dark? When really, when you think about it, it is after light. Think about that. It's true. Have you noticed that red, white, and blue represents freedom unless they're flashing behind you? Excuse me. Alcohol. What's that? It's not in my vodka library. But please let me check in my Wikipedia. How can you hurt somebody with words? Just hit them over the head with a dictionary. All right, now this one, think about this one. People who can fall asleep quickly freak me out. I mean, don't they have any thoughts? Just like, yeah, what do they do with their thoughts when they go to bed? Don't they go through them and try and, save the world before they go to sleep, like the rest of us? By the way, did you guys know that Lauren has found the answer to falling asleep quickly? Yes, Andy. I had a feeling a couple of viewers would really relate to that. Just like, really? But Lauren did something recently. She bought herself 2 high-end hotel quality pillows. And it is amazing the difference in her sleep. I mean, it is just night and day, the difference. Sandy's saying, the lights go out and my brain turns on. You know what I found, Sandy, works really well for me. I found this out some time ago. There's a program on Netflix, or there's also a version of it on Prime called Forensic Files. And the guy on that talks through that has such a monotone voice that it literally acts as a sleep medicine for me. It is the most amazing thing. I just literally put him on. I rarely get through more than 15 minutes of that guy's voice, and I'm out. More information on the pillows. She bought I think it was the Goose Down. Am I correct, Jody? But the get hotel quality. Make sure that everybody is saying that they're hotel quality. So make sure that they are, really. And I want to tell you that her sleep has completely changed. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but my sleep has gone from 6 hours a night to more like 8 hours a night since I have been away from my home. After I got over the initial shock of what had happened to me. And the reason is I am on hotel quality mattresses and pillows. So no doubt about it. So the next time somebody says to you, how do you like your eggs? I would recommend your answer is in a cake. The same way as in the days when we could still go to restaurants. When I go to a restaurant and people say to me, would you like fries with that? I go, I did not get this body by not having fries. If I were a salad person, I would not have this body. I wonder, we lazy people, do we go to heaven, or do they send somebody to come and pick us up? All right. I don't know if I can get through this one without laughing, but let me just see what I can do. Have you ever looked at somebody and just knew the wheel was turning, but the hamster fell off a long time ago? And last night I lay in bed looking up at the stars in the sky and thought to myself, where the heck's the ceiling? Now, this is quite an important question for a lot of us. If you got to choose between eating tacos every day or being skinny for life, would you choose hard or soft tacos? I think my greatest joy is, because I am the rebel that I am, my greatest joy in life is to try and work out this incredible diet that isn't a diet. How much can I really get away with? It's my constant challenge to myself. By the way, I'm noticing that there is a slight glitch in the broadcast on my side. So if it's glitchy on your side, no, it's on my side as well. Therefore, it's probably YouTube. What did the doctor say when I rushed into his office and told him I've got 40 seconds to live? He said, hold on a minute. Sorry. Sometimes, I read these things and This one is probably true for me, but not necessarily you guys. But what do you mean my birth certificate is expired? You know? Actually, you know, tacos in and of themselves are not that bad for you, surely. Yeah, Jody, I like that. Hold on a minute as well. So how about this one? You know, that idea that you've got is absolutely terrible. So what time shall we try it? Oh, I just researched them during the week, Kimmy. You know, there are all sorts of places um, that I find them. And how many of you can relate to this? At the end of the day, life should say, are you sure you want to save the changes? Oh boy, there are days, some days that I'm going, really, can we try again tomorrow? Or how about if there was no Google? What if there was no Google? Would you say, good question, I'll have to Google that? And this one is so true. Since there is only one of me, does that make me a limited edition? I think so, don't you? All right. You're going to groan on this one, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. Have you ever tried to eat a clock? It's very time consuming. Oh, you've got both Google and Alexa in your household and you play them against each other. I think that's a wonderful game. I really do. I think that's who wins. That's what I'd like to know. I just got off of an airplane flight that crossed over 5 time zones. Does that make me a time traveler? This one says, what is your best non-swearing insult? And this person replied, I hope you stand on a Lego. You have to have children to know the relevance of that one, right? All right, hang on. If I had 10 cookies and you took half, what would you have? That's right, a black eye and a broken hand. It's all in the telling, isn't it? And here is a question about which I need you to ponder for a second. Is it good if a vacuum really sucks? Really small things amuse me. There's no doubt about it. The traffic is really slow today. I read 2 books, ate lunch, dinner, replied to all my emails, and I still haven't got to work yet. How many of you have written? There have been days like that for me. I got some repeats going here, so just hold on. Right, this is one that the children will love. How does a train eat? How does a train eat? You're not going to like this, people, but here you go. Choo choo. And this is so true. If a philosopher answers your question, you will no longer understand what you asked in the first place. It's so true. I'm losing my voice. Can you hear that? Right. This is very true. So, according to Archimedes, the Archimedes principle, what happens when you jump into a bathtub full of water? The answer is the phone rings. And this is true of anybody like myself who's retired. What do you do for a living? I breathe in and out. And due to the current economic conditions, the light at the end of tunnel, it's been turned off. Yeah, I can feel my voices scratchy. I've got to tell you, my favorite one so far is about the vacuum. You know, is it any good if it really sucks? You know, I don't know why I like that one so much. So I'm going to just give myself a bit of a break here because, without a doubt, I'm losing my voice. I can either choose to say I'm losing my voice, or I could say that my voice is getting sexier by the minute. I'm just seeing a headline that says over 12 million Americans could lose unemployment the day after Christmas. Wow. Sandy, you like the carousel one, right? You're on a horse going at full speed, and there's a giraffe on your left, and there's a lion behind you. Where are you? That was so clever. Anybody else? What was your favorite funny tonight? I've decided that for dinner tonight, I am going to throw caution to the wind. I made some bread dough, and I'm going to make myself a homemade pizza. Yeah, the hamster wheel's going around, but the hamster fell off a long time ago. Yeah. Yeah. Oh boy. I think sometimes, Jody, you and I have that problem, right? Yeah, the wheel's still turning, but I have no idea where the hamster went. Mm. So, thank you for joining me this evening. I needed a bit of a laugh this evening. I don't know about you guys. And I think part of life is that we choose. You know, we choose to either have a bit of a laugh or not. I'm going to choose to take the day off tomorrow and paint. And I could live to regret that because I'm not at home where dropping paint would not be a major problem. But oh, good, Sandy. I'm glad that you've had a moment to laugh. Sandy, I wanted to ask you, how is your glucose machine thing working? Because I haven't heard you talk about that for a long time. Just hold on one second. And I thought about that today when I was seeing your numbers. I thought, you know, we don't hear how your machine's working. So I just wondered whether everything is okay for you. Well, it's absolutely my pleasure, Jody. I want to tell you that, you know, it's... so Sandy's saying it's pretty good so far. I'm pretty steady usually. Yep. That is awesome. I found that I've now started... Oh, you're saying that you've been spiking and dropping. I found that's why I decided I needed to go back to doing some intermittent fasting, because I noticed that I was literally doing that. I was spiking, and the next time, you know, 12 hours later, I was down in the low fours, and I'm going, no, something, you know, my body is out of whack now. I need to get it back in control in some way. And I also know it's going to take a while for that to, balance out. So I'm trying to be patient. I've been adjusting that for a week now. I think I've been fasting daily for about a week now. And it definitely is beginning to drop. You ran out of chia seeds for chia pudding for breakfast. You see, it's those little things that work so well that, yeah, and so you're saying that the fiber helps you stay steady. I put chia seeds into my bread. Did I tell you that, Sandy? I put flax seed and chia seed into the bread that I cook. Good night, Kimmy. Have a wonderful weekend as well. We'll see you Sunday, hopefully. Thank you for taking the time to be with us. I found that just adding the flaxseed and the chia seeds to my bread just makes sure that I've got that extra bit in my diet every day. And I allow myself, you know, one slice of my multigrain sourdough every day. It's part of my routine. And I'm saying this at lunchtime because what I'm really working at now is to find a routine that I know I can eat this every day, and doesn't matter when in the day I eat it, but this is the food I can eat every day and stay on track. And, you know, for example, that pudding I was telling you about that I worked out, you know, having the Dream Whip with, throw in some no sugar Jello powder, and then a squidge of pressurized cream on top. Boy, it tastes so good. It does not taste like it doesn't have bad stuff, you know, in terms of calories in it. It tastes like it's full of calories, but it isn't. That's the amazing thing. And so, you know me, I'm forever on that mission. So Have a wonderful weekend, everybody, and take it easy and be gentle with yourselves. I really recommend that we all take a day off whenever you can. And if you can't do it tomorrow, please plan a day off. The chances are you're probably in lockdown, and if you're not already, you probably are about to be. So, taking one day off is not going to change your world very much. And I wonder what happens when I have to make all these decisions about my house if I'm in lockdown. Will they have to send me pictures? Yeah, Kimmy's saying she needs to get her monitor checked. It's a good idea. By the way, Kimmy, my doctor gets them to check my monitor when I go for my A1C test. Do any of you have that as well? When I go to do my A1C, he actually asks that I do my own blood test and show it to the technicians, and then they can tell me whether my monitor is recording correctly. So if I understood you correctly, Kimmy, you were saying that your monitor was saying that your blood was okay, but when you went for your A1C, it was higher than it said. I actually have the opposite problem. Mine reads something, and when I go for my A1C, it's normally lower, and I'm happy about that. So that's a nicer way. So either that or get a different monitor. That would be another thing. All right, everybody. So we will see you on Sunday, and I look forward to it. If you have anything, we'll be talking about stress on Sunday, and I'll put out a little questionnaire probably tomorrow sometime to find out what people's stress is this week. But in the meantime, coping with life. Can you remember one of the ways that we cope with life is to remember to laugh, right? And if you are saying, I have nothing to laugh at, go find yourself some of the original Carol Burnett skits and just cry with laughter. You see, the whole thing is, it's what we do to make ourselves laugh that's important. I can assure you that laughter for the 2 hours is really good for your body. Jody is saying your insurance should cover a new monitor every so often, so check your coverage if you can, Kimmy. All right, so all good things to know. Thank you all for being with me. I really, really appreciate it, and it was fun being able to laugh. I actually, you know what I have? I have a different one to that. Hang on a second. What's mine called? And I want to tell you, I'm really impressed with it. Hi there, Bernice. We're just closing. I have this one. And what I like about it is that it really is very, very easy to use. It has a lot of information. And it also has an app for your phone and stuff. So it's called the One Touch Vario Reflect. Bernice is saying we're in Texas with family. I'm so happy, and I conquered my fear, and I've been exterminating bugs around the lights so I can sleep. Well, there you go. Yeah, I must admit that I am really impressed with this meter. As I still have my cheap one that I got on Wish, which, by the way, works really well. But I use this for what I call extra testing. Sometimes I'm not sure whether my blood sugar has gone wonky, and I will test it on here. This one, I check my blood glucose first thing when I get up, whatever time that is, and then again at about 10:30, 11 o'clock, somewhere in there. I'm trying to find out why is my blood glucose going up so much during the night? Or am I kidding myself? I think I don't eat after that time, and I do. And that's what I'm trying to monitor at the moment. You know, do I think that I don't eat after 10:30, but the truth is I put a lot of carbs in, and that's why I'm having that jump at night. You know, that would make perfect sense to me. So that's, I'm trying to say, okay, fine. After I've done that blood test at night, no more eating. Very difficult for me. Because, you know, then I want to eat, don't I? Because I'm a human being. All right, everybody, thank you so much. And protein at night, yes, I'm trying to learn that. But my concern, Sandy, and I always have this concern, which is if we eat that much protein, is it bad for our arteries? And, where's the happy medium here? Because if we're putting in that much dairy and eggs and meat and stuff like that, but it makes sense to me. I've also found out, to my surprise, that making a sourdough bread pudding, because the bread pudding has got egg in it and some milk, obviously, it actually is a very nice dessert, and it does not appear to spike me for some reason. I've also learned that to eat mini wheats as crackers at night, like my candy now. I take a handful of mini wheats and eat those. Sandy's saying small amounts. I eat a little bit of almond butter at night. It keeps me steady. Yep, those are the tricks of the trade that we're constantly learning and relearning, I found. I'm going to rest my voice now. This is DearMamaSal saying thank you so much for being here with me. We look forward to seeing you on Sunday, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye for now.